Good morning. My name is Jason Blaine Schulz. This video is for Kinesiology and Biomechanics with Dr. P here at Southern Arkansas University. We're going to be talking about the movements and the motion of the shoulder and the wrist. And today I'm going to be demonstrating these movements, and I'm also going to be talking about how a healthy shoulder can perform these versus injured, recovering shoulder. So in September of 2022, I was involved in a car accident that completely destroyed my labrum and severely damaged my proximal biceps tendon in my right shoulder. Damaged it to the point where they had to cut it and then reattach it using bone hooks. And they attached it directly to the bone. I had my surgery on January 25th. I just finished week 7 of physical therapy. My first 6 weeks of physical therapy was passive therapy, where I'm not doing any of the movements or motions myself. And then this 6 weeks portion is going to be focusing on range of motion and movement. So first we're going to be talking about upward rotation. So upward rotation, starting with the, starting in this position, we're going to be focusing on 100 degrees of upward rotation. So getting to 90 degrees, no problem. And then getting up to 180, no problem. So basically, your scapula is facing like this. At 90 degrees, it's going to be rotated somewhat like this, and then at 180, it's going to be like this. Now then, starting from overhead, 90 degrees, down to 0. So what's happening here is starting here, going here, going here, and this is your scapula. And comparing this is my healthy shoulder, comparing this to my injured shoulder. We have upward rotation, so starting at 0, going to go up to 90, which is possible. I just can't sustain it for very long, and my arm's very weak, and it doesn't feel the greatest. Now then, trying to get to 180 is impossible right now. The most I can manage is 160, 150 maybe, and then back down, and then down, which the downward rotation is a lot easier. So again, I'm not going to demonstrate with this bad arm, but going down on the rotation a lot easier. Gravity does most of the work, and it's not as stressful on my glenohumeral joint, my scapula. So next we have horizontal adduction, which means to the body, and abduction, which means from the body. So if we take our arms like this, what's being abducted is going to be our scapula. What's being adducted is our glenohumeral joint. All right, going back to our starting position, and then rotating in a way that our shoulder is kind of poked in. What's being adducted is now our scapula. What's being abducted is now our glenohumeral joint. So achieving this with my injured shoulder, here we have almost full range of motion. It's not 100%, but and then now we have going back. This is all I can muster, really. So about 15-20 degrees worth of range of motion from a starting point. And yeah, so what's happening here is the shoulder is moving this way on the back end, and it's pulling on my repaired shoulder, which is why I can't really establish the full range of motion. Next we have internal and external rotation. So internal rotation is going to be starting with our elbow tucked in to our body, and then bringing our forearm in. It's rotating at the shoulder, because what's actually happened to my shoulder, so your biceps connects to your shoulder with your proximal biceps tendon. And so if this gets damaged, so like I'm not supposed to lift anything with my arm. So if this gets damaged, your biceps is affected, and it just affects your whole arm. So it's not isolated to a certain part of your body. and it can also make movements using your biceps hard. So, and it can make movements using your elbow joint hard as well. So, which this isn't really using your elbow joint. So, inward and outward, which outward rotation is already a hard to do. Like, I don't think anybody can really get the perfect 180 degrees range of motion, especially going outward. Now using my recovering shoulder, we have inward, which can be accomplished with relative ease. Nothing crazy going on. But once we get to outward, so starting I can probably get 45 degrees worth of outward rotation out of this one. Compare that to one that can get almost 180. So it really focuses on your shoulder kind of rotating like this, which again, really painful. Next we have ulnar and radial deviation. That's what I'm gonna call it. Might be wrong. I'll post a comment on the video if it's wrong, but I don't want to restart. Ulnar and radial deviation. So basically you can do this either this way or this way. It's easier for me to do it this way, I think. So first, radial, your radius is going to be up. So bringing your wrist up into a motion like this to the bottom or the side of your hand, which where your pinky is up. And then now we have ulnar, which is where your wrist is kind of flexing like this. So radial, ulnar. And this isn't really something that I can't do, so it's mostly just wrist. So thank you guys so much.